Hi, this is Tom Rhodes. Please join me as I scour the four corners of the earth to bring you interesting and intelligent, funny people who will enrich your life with wisdom and laughter. I'll take you to Europe, Australia, all over America. I might take you to the peaks of Machu Picchu, the canals of Amsterdam, the Great Wall of China, or the swamps of Florida, and certainly the many, many comedy clubs and comedy theaters all over the world. Come hang out with me and meet the many interesting people that pop up in my life as I travel the world as a stand-up comedian.
You're listening to Tom Rhodes Radio.
Karate kick, baby.
Rock and roll.
Rafinha Bastos, ladies and gentlemen. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Rafinha is actually my nickname.
Okay.
My name is Raphael.
Like the famous Italian painter.
Yes, and we have the same talent. The same amount of talent, yeah. It's Raphael, but they call me Rafinha because I am tall, so it's like my nickname.
Well, what does it mean?
It means little Raphael.
Okay.
It means little Raphael.
Okay.
But I'm using Rafi.
I like Rafi.
Because people can't say the NH thing. Rafinha. And people almost have like a stroke when they're trying to say so. I'm just using Rafi now.
So how long have you been living in Los Angeles?
2 months now.
Oh, okay, you're fresh.
Yeah, 2 months and a half.
Yeah.
I've been here a lot, Since 2011, I've been coming here every, 5 or 6 months to spend a little bit. But now I am going on stage to do stand-up. I'm doing stand-up in Brazil for the past, 15 years. But only now I started to do it in English. I was a little scared of doing it in English.
Why were you scared?
I think all my references are American. So Richard Pryor, Bill Hicks, and George Carlin, those guys that I used to watch. I don't know. I always felt that this was like another ball game for me.
Well, I thought it was interesting last night when we were eating at Mel's Drive-In, and you told this great story about some guy who somebody was going to commit suicide, and then, or it was a woman, and then they saw a video with you and your son. Yes. It was a beautiful story. Yeah. And then you said, "Oh, my English isn't. I'm not telling the story properly." But you did tell the story properly. It was powerful. And my wife Ashna, who's from Holland. She often, it was that exact same moment. She's like, oh, if I could explain this in Dutch, it would be much more powerful. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, no. You explained it perfectly.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm searching for the right words. Not now that I'm just talking to you, but when I wanted to say a story, I don't want to just mess up the setup. If I am on stage, I want to translate everything that I'm saying. Otherwise, I know that I'm going to fuck everything up. Because there's a mathematics behind the joke. That's how I treat jokes.
Are there certain expressions in Portuguese that are not translatable to English?
There's a lot. Like saudade. Saudade is the feeling that you have when you miss someone. It's the name of the feeling, saudade.
Like when you and I met, you had this special feeling.
Yes, that's exactly what I had.
So what kind of feeling is that?
It's when you miss someone.
You miss them?
You miss them.
Oh, I thought you said when you meet someone.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, when you meet. But I thought that you were saying that I missed you from maybe another life.
No,
I was like, yes, I did.
No, I thought it was a feeling like when you meet someone and there's a connection or something.
No. It's when you miss someone, there's this feeling called saudade. That's not this word in Portuguese. There's not this word in Portuguese. In English, no. There's not. I miss him. No. Or the status of a relationship when you're just dating someone. We have this thing called namoro. Namoro is the first step of that relationship that's going to become a marriage in the future. So you don't have this in English. She is my girlfriend. That's how I say.
Yeah.
But you can say this about a girl that is actually your friend. She's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, no, we have this called namorada. She's my namorada. So she's your girlfriend. You are in a relationship with her. You don't have that word in Portuguese.
Interesting.
In English.
I know in Dutch there's an interesting word called vriendinnetje.
What's that?
And that is a girlfriend that you're not fucking. It's a Dutch...
Vriendinnetje.
A vriendinnetje.
Vriendinnetje.
Yeah.
A girl that you're not fucking.
Yeah, like you said, the Rafinha is like little Raphael. They add ch to little.
Okay.
At the
What's the word?
Vriendinnetje.
Vriendinnetje.
Is a girlfriend that you're not fucking. That's just like an actual friend.
So you fuck so much in Holland that you have a word
they have
for
designations.
the woman that you're not
They have
not
designations.
fucking.
Yeah, Dutch expressions are great.
Oh. Wow.
So what are other Portuguese? What English limitations are you finding?
Man, sometimes is a little difficult. For me on stage, the most difficult thing is that it's all about references. Some references that I use in Portuguese are difficult to translate in English. So what I'm doing on stage now, I'm writing a lot already in English, so it becomes more natural. But the thing is, I translated some of my jokes. Some stuff about my kid and relationship and everything. I have those little jokes. And sometimes there's always...
Stuff that's universally funny.
Universally funny. Like I have this joke that I say that everything changed on my mind after I have a baby. My ideas, my opinions, like now I am pro-abortion. And I have that joke. And here it has some extra strength. Sometimes I feel that people are more sensitive right now. So there's these jokes that I feel that now like hits the audience in a different way. So sometimes I have to set up things differently. Like I have this joke that I used to do in Portuguese. It's not the brightest joke in the world, but that the other day I saw a guy with a t-shirt. He was like proud of his race. So he was written 100% black. And I pointed to the palm of his hand and said 99%. Okay, so if I do this I do this in Portuguese.
In Brazil, I bet that's a hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
You something like that in the States. You're like, oh, you're a white guy. You can't comment on this.
Yes, and I have the segue that I say then. He wasn't offended. He even smiled, and I said 98%. So that's a joke. Okay, but I'm telling you, it works in English. It works a lot in English, but the first time that I did was so I have to set up this joke as a misunderstanding. What I have to say is, you guys here talk a lot about racism, so I have to be a little careful because sometimes I do a little misunderstandings because we don't have that much racism in Brazil, so I feel free to say stuff. So I have to set up as a misunderstanding. In Brazil, I don't have to do this whole setup. Because people here are sensitive, so I have to do it. And the joke works.
I think you could be very valuable in the United States explaining, how you don't have this racist hang-ups in Brazil. Mm-hmm. How, and that's something I talked to you a little bit about last night. Yeah. I want to talk to you about how Brazilian soccer healed a lot of problems in Brazil racially.
And I'm not saying that we don't have racism.
Right.
Because we do have. The thing is, it's completely different than here. I'm pretty sure that we don't have that much racism in Brazil like you guys have here. And maybe a Brazilian that is listening to this is going to be mad at me. But I know, now that I'm living here, I know that you guys are much more sensitive about this whole situation. There is even that's not a big deal when you see like a black guy with a white girl or a white girl with a black guy. That's you don't even pay attention to that. Here is something. I'm not saying that it's forbidden or everything like that, but it's something. It kind of people look twice to something like that's not something that happens.
Now I think it's more common in the last 10, 20 years, but that from an outsider's point of view, that's one thing that I envy about Brazil is that there's so many different races of people, and there doesn't seem to be this racial animosity that exists in the United States. No. And Brazil had slavery.
Yes.
And somehow you managed to not have this hatred that is in the United States.
Yes. There is a little bit I'm telling you, there is some racism, but I think we are living in this moment where social media makes everything huge, and sometimes we feel that people hate each other much more than they actually do. In real life, there's not much hate that it is on the web. I said this like a number of times in Brazil. The people get mad at me. But
True, but
that's why you feel that the whole
we're-
country is very racist because one incident or two incidents. What I'm saying is we are making those incidents something huge now because you all reverberate a lot, and which is good because we don't.
I agree with you. The echo chamber of
Yes.
the internet makes everything seem like a massive crisis. But we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the Charlottesville riots, or whatever you want to call that, when these white power guys marched to save some Confederate statue, and there was a counter demonstration and things. Some alt-right racist guy smashed his car into these people and killed this woman. So now they're about to, I think it's next week or in the next few days, there's going to be a white power march in front of the White House.
Okay.
So in years before, these kind of people would never show themselves in public. They wouldn't have a march or a demonstration because it just seems like more of these hate-filled assholes are coming out of the shadows now.
What I think
in America,
and I'm telling you, I think this is great. I think this is awesome.
It's good to know where they are.
Of course. That's why you have freedom of speech, and you really respect that. And you have to respect that. I want to know who the assholes are. And you just have that with freedom of speech. I don't want them to be in closed groups on the web, building plans, and with hate in their hearts because they cannot express themselves. This is, I think, is much more dangerous. You know what? Just fucking say your shitty words in front of the White House for 2 hours. Nobody cares about it. I think that's the way we have to treat that. In a free country like you guys have here, you gotta have the possibility to express yourself, even if it's a hate speech. That's what I'm saying. Because to not allow this to happen is much worse, and it can hurt you much more than just forbid them to do those things. That's what I think.
I agree with you. But then you got the other example of, right, I don't know if you know who Alex Jones is.
I know.
The InfoWars guy. He just got banned from all these platforms, Facebook and YouTube and all that. It just happened this morning. I don't know if you saw the news.
No.
Yeah, today. So they just
he was
iTunes, Stitcher, everybody pulled his content. But this guy was saying things like Sandy Hook was a government conspiracy, that those people were crisis actors. He was a big 9/11 was an inside job done by the government. He was really just a main generator of some fucked up fake news, and like the parents of the children killed in Sandy Hook were getting harassed by people and things like that, and they're suing him now, and that's what led to his stuff being yanked.
But a lawsuit is a tool of a democratic country. It's okay. Sue the guy, but don't forbid him to say but you know what? Facebook and YouTube, they are companies. They're sponsors behind all that thing. So if you want to be free and talk everything that you want, just go out on the street, go to the theater, make people pay to watch you. Don't depend on big companies because they're not going to allow you to say those things. This is not like a government censorship. This is economic censorship. I don't want.
And that's the world we live in now.
Yeah.
It's not governments anymore. It's corporations.
Okay, that's okay. I don't think it's good that you don't allow people to say. But you know what? There's Coca-Cola putting advertisements on YouTube. There is McDonald's putting advertisements on Facebook. So I understand why this guy was kicked out of those things. You have to build your whole platform to do something like that. But what I'm saying is, it's sad that we have guys like that. But at the same time, to not allow them to express themselves, I'm telling you, this is something that can hurt your country in the future. Because what happened in Brazil, we create this law where people are like, this law for the web that you don't allow people to be in certain kind of speeches and everything else. So this law was like changing. It reached a time where the government was trying to make that law to not allow people to say shit about the government. So what I'm telling you, people are gonna take advantage of those little holes in laws to make those things play in your advantage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do totally. I think I agree with you about, freedom of speech, and even if it's hate speech and all that. This guy's a tricky case, Alex Jones, because he was spreading misinformation. How can you deny that these children were killed in Sandy Hook, Connecticut, and then the family's being harassed, and then to perpetually, he's got this real, and he was, there's certain topics of misinformation that he keeps harping on. I think there's a difference between spreading misinformation that makes people act aggressively towards victims than people who are just spouting off hate and shit.
My friend, there is only two choices: or you're free, or you're not. There's no in between. Okay, what I'm saying is, it's sad that a guy like that exists. I'm not here to say to you, it's so good that some people are saying those type of shit. I'm saying racism is the worst thing that can happen. What the case that you're telling me, it's sad that happens. But what I'm saying is, you live in a free country, and those guys needs to exist. So I can see who they are. So I have to make a choice. In a mature democratic country, we need people to speak out. We need to see which are the ones that we are going to connect with. So I know that this is not good, and I know I've heard about this guy a lot. I watched him. I think it was Joe Rogan. He's kind of always go to his podcast or something.
Yeah.
And of course, he's not the best guy ever. And maybe that freedom of speech made you guys elect that president. That happens too. But at the same time, it's just, let's stop complaining. Let's fight with words. Let's build another platform. Let's say the truth. Let's fight against the system, not to fight the system.
Yeah, but I always thought, the best way to combat fascism is to laugh at it and ridicule it. I mean, that guy should have just been made fun of.
Yes.
And people should have just pointed at him and laughed and said, "You're a moron."
Yes.
But then there's all these armies of people who take his word seriously.
I understand, but how can you not allow them to be dumbasses?
Well, that is the beauty of the United States, is you are free to be a complete fucking moron here. That is, we have just distilled the United States down to its essence.
Yes.
You are free to educate yourself, and you are free to be a complete mindless fucking idiot.
And some of those guys got the education and still were fucking idiots. Yeah.
And then you can become president.
That's what I'm saying. What happened to me in Brazil is that I got in a lawsuit. One of my lawsuits were from this institution that works with people with Down syndrome. And they wanted me to not talk about Down syndrome for the rest of my life. They want to sign a deal that I wouldn't talk about it. And I think that's bad. You cannot forbid someone to say certain things. We have to be mature enough.
This is a perfect. I'm sorry. Finish what you're going to say.
No, I just have to be mature enough to choose the side that we are in. I'm not saying that I've been. Some people have been saying this a lot about me. Oh, this guy fight for freedom of speech because he wants to punch down, because he wants to fucking hurt people with Down syndrome and the gays and everything. No. That's not what I'm saying. I don't have jokes, homophobic jokes. I don't have racist jokes. What I want is the freedom to make fun of everybody. Because you cannot just protect the black people and forget about the Portuguese people in Brazil. Like the Portuguese, we make fun of the Portuguese as they being dumbasses. They're idiots. They're not smart people. And I'm telling you, this is the joke that everybody do in Brazil. It's a joke that they repeat a lot. And this is not good if I am a Portuguese living and trying to get my education and to try to just run my business, and people look at me and they feel free to call me an idiot. Maybe it's bad that I'm protecting just a racist joke and not a joke against the Portuguese, or not a joke against the gay people. So that's what I'm saying. Or you have two choices, free or not. There's no in between. And I think that's something that nobody wants to discuss in Brazil, because we have all this. It's the same thing. Hollywood. I don't think Hollywood wants to discuss that as well. And I don't think this speech, what I'm saying to you right now, is not going to open that much doors for me in Hollywood. But what I'm saying is that's what I believe.
Your Twitter followers will get open doors for you in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you've said before.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because this town is all about numbers.
Well, okay.
But this is great great segue to get right into everything that you've been through, because you are basically the Lenny Bruce of Brazil.
Yeah, I wouldn't
there's
say
similarities. I mean, we talked about this last night at dinner.
Yeah.
That there's similarities between, because Lenny Bruce was crucified in the courts, and they crushed him in the courts over the content of his material that he spoke about in his comedy routines, which at the time, it seems laughable today, but just saying the word cocksucker was basically what they crushed him with that, and then and these trials went on forever. So you've had a number of incidences. I didn't know about the Down syndrome organization. So what was the first joke that got you in trouble in Brazil?
I did a rape joke that I'm not proud of. I did a rape joke at 2:00 in the morning in my comedy club. And the thing is...
So it wasn't even on television?
It wasn't even on television.
See, now that's exactly what happened to Lenny Bruce.
Yeah, exactly.
He was in a nightclub.
Yeah, that was exactly what happened. But I think that was the first joke that was like a big scandal. And this guy's doing a rape joke. Then they
nationwide press?
It was. You go to like those big websites, and the 5 more clicked news... from those 5 news, 3 were about me, and everybody was talking about it, and hurt my career a lot. I know that.
This was before you worked on television or after?
No, it was after. Because the thing is, I built this reputation of me being all controversy, and that's my humor. That's the way I write things. And people used to like, they do. I have the audience with me. I still have the audience with me. They still like what I do. But what I'm saying is, I was doing a show in a theater at like midnight, and people just went to my theater and took me out of the theater and just asked me, what do you want to do on TV? And what I said was, I want to do journalism and I want to do comedy. That's what I want to mix those things up. And I did this TV show for, I don't know, it was like 5 or 6 years in Brazil.
Where you were like a comedian journalist?
Yes. I used to do stories on the street, and I used to be one of the hosts. It was a show called CQC. And we used to make fun of everybody.
What does that mean?
It's called Custe o que custar. All is, how can I say, is when you do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, okay.
That's the name of the show, Whatever It Takes. And I was always the one in the team that do the tough jokes. The jokes that no other comedian wanted to do, I was that guy. And people loved me because of that. Because I used to do jokes that people were afraid to do it. But then I started to do, there was like this time, and I was getting a lot of money, and I was getting a lot of press, and I became huge in Brazil. So, like the Spider-Man say, with big...
great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe
I think he stole that from the Bible.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't. But let's give it to Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I didn't pay attention to that. I still kept doing the same type of material that I was to do.
But like with that Alex Jones guy, I mean, controversy and... doing fucked up things seems to be what gets the most followers and the most attention in the internet world, in the age of mass communication.
I completely agree with you, but the thing is, I never searched for those controversies. I always did the same thing that I was doing when I started in 2003 doing stand-up, 15 years ago. I kept doing the same thing. I never wrote something looking for a controversy. I just write things that I think is funny. That's what I think. And the audience agrees with me. But the thing is, what happens with the rape joke, and what happens a lot of different jokes, they take those jokes out of context, okay? A joke that I did at 2 o'clock in the morning, there was a journalist from the Rolling Stone on my show. And he did this story about me. Saying the story wasn't even negative. It was a positive story. Saying, oh, this guy is like pushing boundaries, he's testing limits and everything. But that was this joke in the middle of the story. So a newspaper just got that joke and put it on their pages and kind of analyze and just create the story. Rafinha creates controversy with a rape joke. And this became a huge thing. They wanted me to apologize. It's not a joke that I am proud of. And I wouldn't say again because I knew that I was just testing things.
Do you want to tell us the joke or no?
No, it was... I won't remember. I never translated or anything, but the joke always started when I saw like we have these TV shows like on afternoon in Brazil, and they show crime, a lot of crime, like people getting murder. I see like bodies, dead bodies and stuff, and the toughest crimes. It's like at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was watching this. And this was like I saw like a very close shot, and they do like this close shot of people that was like victims of crimes, and it was a woman and she was raped, and there was this very close shot of her mouth, and she had a huge mustache, and then the joke was all about, okay, that's your choice, so you don't need approval. And that's the one that you chose, the one with the mustache or something like that. It was like 5 minutes of jokes about the whole thing. And people got mad. It wasn't a good joke, but I did it 2 o'clock in the morning in a comedy club, on stage. And I don't understand how people can take things said on stage serious. But the thing is, and that's the big confusion, that's what happened with Lenny Bruce. And that's what happened to me, and it's still happening a little bit in Brazil, is that I'm Rafinha Bastos saying those things. I'm not a character. And we in Brazil, the type of comedy that we used to have and we still have are the characters, the impersonators. Oh, I'm putting up a wig and doing like I'm a transvestite, and I'm a drunk, and that's the.
And then you can say anything to the character.
Say anything.
Yeah.
If the people hate your character, you create another one next week. But I was going to TV and saying those things as a Rafinha Bastos. So it was hard when they read those things on a newspaper. It was hard for them to differentiate me from the joke. Does this guy really thinks it was this fucking joke that I know it's a shitty joke, but I said this is not a crime. This is an opportunity or something like that. That's what I said.
For what?
The rape joke.
Oh.
For her, it's not a crime. It's an opportunity. It was something. It was bad. But the thing is, they were starting to question: does this guy think these things? And I didn't. Of course, I didn't. If you want to talk to me, and I used to have like at the same time, I used to have this news show. I used to go on the street and do like tough stories about rape, about child molestation, and it was serious. So it was a mass in people's head. Oh, this guy's saying all these things, and at the same time he's fighting against these things. So it's fucking crazy. And I think I helped them to be a little confused because I was doing so many different things. But it's okay. It's okay. Now it's all good. I can understand the process, and I know that the audience understands a little better. Some of those jokes I'm not proud of, and some of them, and the biggest one that got me in trouble, I think it's a shitty one.
The massive controversy.
Yeah,
so I mean, there's you've had no bigger controversy than the joke you made about the pregnant singer, right?
Yeah.
So for the listeners who don't know you in the situation, would you like to regale us with the joke that got you in so much trouble?
It's my pleasure.
Because I kind of like it.
It's my pleasure to repeat the joke that almost killed my career.
I like that you're living in exile in the United States, because I kind of did the same thing. Well, I mean, I didn't run away from controversy. Not that you ran away, but I like the idea of a comedian, because it's all about having life experience to talk about on stage, to just move to another country where nobody knows you, basically, and to build a whole new thing. I think it's really cool. So I don't know if that was the reason you left Brazil, but it was a big bombshell.
Oh, yeah, it was. Of course.
So what was the joke?
The same. That was live on TV, and it's a shitty joke. That's the thing. I wish it was a good joke.
Who would trust a comedian with live television?
Yeah.
I mean, even Saturday Night Live is rehearsed.
That's crazy, huh?
There's a delay on it.
That's crazy, huh? But the thing is, the thing that makes me sad is that the joke is not good and people still repeating. I wish it was a good joke.
I have better material than
I have. I don't want to be like, remember, if I die, this is going to be like my fucking, what is the name of the thing?
Obituary.
Yeah. She's very hot. And my friend asked me, do you think she's hot? And I said she was so hot that I would fuck her and her baby. And I had to pay $200,000 for her husband, and the baby.
So there's a big lawsuit.
I lost the lawsuit.
So was it like the Lenny Bruce trial where like they're talking about your joke in court?
No, there wasn't a popular thing. There was just like...
they made a decision.
They made a decision. There was like 2 against 1. One was on my favor and the other 2 were against me. It's a very, very powerful family.
Of the singer?
Oh, yeah. Her father, it's a very known singer in Brazil. It's a very known singer. She's known. Her husband is very powerful. His family kind of owns a state in Brazil. So it was big. It was big. Even the joke being that shitty, it hurt a lot. And I didn't apologize. That's the thing. And my TV show wanted me to apologize. They wanted to suspend me for like 2 weeks. And I told them, no. If you're gonna suspend me, I'm gonna quit. That TV show, what's the name of that?
Whatever It Takes.
Whatever It Takes. The CQC thing. It was a huge TV show, and everybody loved us. So this was a big controversy inside the group and everything. So it was like every single day there was like a new news about the situation. It was like one of my colleagues went public to fucking bash me. So this was like a whole year of people talking about this. So I just did my new special for Netflix. I still talk about it because you know what? That's my story. I need to make fun of it. Yeah. And I gotta be, and I didn't suffer. That's the thing. People think that you gotta be. It was very, you gotta be. It was hard for you, and I was like, nah, because I was making fun of it. That's the way that I have to deal with my problems.
Every comedian.
Yeah. So I had a lot of fun.
So the money was divided. How much money did you have to pay for this?
It was actually in. So
did you? So the show finished?
No. I ran out of the show, and the ratings started getting lower.
And they just got someone who replaced you. Yeah. Someone who wouldn't be so controversial.
Yes. Yeah. And they did that, and it took some time, and the show was over. Because that's what I said to them. We have a very good chance now to make a statement for comedy. We are not gonna back up. We are going to do these jokes, and that's what we are. We have a very good challenge in front of us. And they were like, nah, we have sponsors. So we are just going to suspend you. And I was like, no, that's not the game that I wanted to play. But at the same time, how dumb was I to think that a TV is going to fight for the comedian and not for the money? It's like, fuck, man. What are you? Oh, you're not fighting against the power. No. Okay, I knew that would happen. But it was a statement for me. I'm telling you, comedy was not something that big in Brazil. And comedy still is not that huge thing in Brazil. So, of course, the good guys are always going to win at the end. It's not like here. And that was big. It is not like a Daniel Tosh not apologizing for a joke. I wasn't doing a TV show for Comedy Central. I wasn't doing shows for I was like a fucking Jimmy Fallon. So, of course Jimmy Fallon's going to apologize. Tracy Morgan apologized. When you're that big. So, that's why sometimes I get a little when I see like I was watching this interview with Anthony Jeselnik, which I think he's great.
I love Jeselnik.
He's a great guy, great writer, and he was like kind of a mad of people that apologize for jokes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he never felt that pressure. Oh, let me tell you something. You are so big, and if you don't apologize, if you don't follow this script that we are building for you to help your career, you're gonna fall. You don't know how deep you're gonna fall. So it's easy to just judge them. Oh, he just apologized. He's a fucking pussy. No. That's a lot of pressure, man. And I fight against the pressure. I just did jokes about it, and it hurt me a lot. But I don't regret. I had so much fun. And you know what? The thing that helped me, that gave me freedom, I'm a fucking millionaire. I don't care. I have money. It's okay.
So how much money did you have to pay for this fine?
It was 150,000 reais.
Okay, so if you're a millionaire, it's not that bad.
Okay, I'm telling you, I'm a millionaire. I'm just okay. I'm just fucking.
But like, so in the
I have money to pay the thing. I'm not. I don't want people to watch this. So next week someone's gonna sue me. Oh, he got $1 million. Fucking give me 2. No. Okay, just
people
take it
start
slow.
crying at your shows. I was offended by a joke that he did. I need a check.
Yeah.
So the money was divided up between the woman, her husband, and the kid.
Yeah. It was 50,000 for each one of them.
So,
but I had to pay lawyers.
So like, if you see like on Instagram a picture of the kid and he's got shitty clothes, you can go, hey, he can afford better clothes than that.
Yeah.
So
I don't do. I just I did all these jokes already. Like when she tweets something, I just asked her like, the other day she was like, she posted something on Twitter. She was like tired. And then she after the show, and she tweeted something. I feel like I'm dying, and I just put like the emoji, like clapping hands.
Oh shit!
And I don't know. Like, yay! Yeah.
So you talk about it a lot on your new Netflix special.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So
I have some jokes about it. I start the special saying something like. I'm doing comedy. I'm doing comedy again. I'm out of TV. I'm doing comedy again. Am I happy? No. Do I need the money? Yeah. Because if I don't get any money, Vanessa Camargo has nothing to eat, which is her. So I have all this thing about her and the lawsuit and everything. And I don't know, man. I'm a little afraid of what's going to happen.
What, for you in Brazil?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. But I can't.
What, like a death squad gonna hunt you down or something?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's good for us to be talking about it, that I can make this clear that if someone kills me, you guys are gonna know who it was. But I don't know. No, I don't think people are gonna kill me.
So you can't perform in that state that's owned by the family, right?
Man, I can. The thing is, if I say that I'm having death threats or anything like that, and this is something that is just like little jokes and here and there, I'll be accusing them of something that they didn't do, and this could be a huge lawsuit against me. So it's not that I'm getting death threats, it's just that I have to be a little careful, and I was afraid for a while of what could happen with me. I'm telling you, that's the only thing. Did I stop doing those jokes? Nah. I think comedy is much important for me.
But comedy is stand-up comedy.
Okay, maybe I'm feeling a little free that I'm saying this in America, where I think people are not going to come here to kill me. I feel more free. Yeah.
Hey, man, they got Trotsky in Mexico.
Oh,
babe.
yeah, they do. Yeah,
I don't know if you know who Leo Trotsky was. Ice pick in the head.
I know.
And that was before GPSs and the internet. So, do you feel like obviously it was a good time to take a break from Brazil and come to the States and everything.
Yeah.
But do you feel like you can't freely move around in Brazil right now?
No, of course I can. Yeah. It's okay. No, that's no problem. I don't think someone's going to kill me or anything.
Like when you tour in Brazil, like what size venues do you play? You play big theaters?
No, I'm telling you now. I used to do like a 2,000 theater. when I was like in that, like 2011, 2010, I used to do like 5,000 people per weekend. Now things are not that big because that's a lot of different reasons. One, because I'm not on TV anymore, so it kind of it's not the same thing. And two, in 2011, 2012, people had money to pay for entertainment. People doesn't have that much money to pay for entertainment anymore. People are not going to the theaters like they were going in 2009, 2010. Brazil was like living in a very good moment. They are not living.
Brazil was the economic powerhouse of South America. Now it's Chile, but Brazil was what, the BRIC nations.
Yes.
The rising economic powers. So it's not like that now.
No. It was Brazil, Russia, India, China,
BRIC,
and China.
Yeah.
And now we are not living that. It's not the same thing anymore. No, we lost a lot.
So stand-up comedy is relatively a new sensation in Brazil.
It is.
Like you said, people did characters with wigs and things before. Mm-hmm. So must be basically, I was saying you're comparable to Lenny Bruce because of the lawsuits, but maybe a George Carlin would be a better example. Because
it would be too arrogant for me to compare myself to any of those guys. But if you're saying, I agree.
But like, I mean, well, I guess not like you're. I mean, he's one of the greatest of all time. He had a big body of work, but like, I know you, like me. Bill Hicks is one of my all-time heroes in comedy. I guess the comparison I'm making is you're known for hitting a little harder in your jokes, not just with sick jokes or inappropriate jokes, but just
sometimes
being a little more hard-hitting in the jokes and stuff.
That's the way I play. Not here, The crazy thing is that here in America, things are a little different. Because there is some charism behind the foreign guy, the guy that sometimes is just a misunderstanding. I'm not just throwing jokes at people's faces, like I have this joke about the N-word. So when I say the N-word, people start to get a little sensitive. But the joke it's innocent. I have this joke where I say that when I arrived here in America, a cab driver told me, you can say wherever you want here in America, but don't use the N-word, or people are going to kick your ass. But he never told me what the N-word was. So for the past 60 days, I have been avoiding all wars that starts with the letter N. And the other day, a gay guy came up to me and said, can I fuck your ass? And I was like, maybe. So there is this, the likability here. Yeah. Because people don't know who I am. They don't have any backstory.
Yeah,
they don't know that I'm a controversial guy. They just laugh because this foreign guy doesn't speak that good English. So it's different. It's fresh. I'm feeling renewed, man.
Like when I travel around to different countries around the world, I always find that people always really appreciate when a foreigner gives their observations on a place, and like you and I were talking last night. I had a sitcom in the United States, and then it only lasted for a year, and I had, for whatever frustrations with Los Angeles and American show business, and I wanted to branch out. I wanted to play around the world. So I went to Europe, and I loved the fact that people only knew me just for being a stand-up comedian.
Nice.
And they knew nothing of the television that I had done.
Do you feel that when someone at that time, because probably now people don't go after you and to tell you, oh, I remember a sitcom, without knowing who you are because you look completely different.
Yeah. No,
they probably
rarely
know
ever.
If there's probably some people that meet you today and just go like, I liked that sitcom.
I'll have like super fans who go, and hey, I used to watch the Mr. Rhodes show.
Yeah.
Like it just rarely.
But at that time, you were already doing stand-up, right?
I had been doing stand-up for like 13 years when I got
13 years. Show, So at that time, did you feel more like prouder when people went up to you and talk about stand-up than the TV?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, my dream in life then and now and forever has always just been to be the greatest stand-up comedian I could possibly be.
Nice.
I'd never dreamed of having a sitcom and all that other shit.
Same thing with me.
I just wanted to be a comedian.
Yeah, same thing with me. But the thing is, stand-up was the first step. TV kind of brought me to the audience.
Well, television's the kingmaker, and television is what puts asses in the seats.
Yes.
You know, so it's kind of a necessary thing as a comedian. It's the it's the peanut butter and jelly that goes together.
Yes.
You know, you can be the greatest club comedian in the world and not sell tickets, and you're going to be slugging it out in Palookaville, as I like to say.
I got it.
So I looked up a little information on you.
You ask me.
Who's this guy was a big influence on you? Marcelo Mansfield?
Oh, Mansfield.
Was he like one of the original Brazilian comedians?
He is a very good friend. He's one of my best friends. We started to do stand-up together. He was doing the characters in a show, in a very, very known show in Brazil called Terça Insana, which is Crazy Tuesday. And he was doing like traveling all around the country. Everybody knew him. He was doing TV, soap operas. And we kind of became friends. Very good friends. And I was doing comedy on the web. That's the only thing that I was doing in like 99 or something, 2000. And he asked me, do you want to go on stage? You got to go on stage. You're funny. And I was like, if I go on stage, I want to do this thing that I saw in the US when I played basketball there. I saw some guys just going on stage, being themselves. And they were like, okay, I stand up. Yeah, I know what stand up is. So why don't we just try to do a stand up show? And we started to do stand up comedy. And it was like me, him, and another like 3 people.
You guys were like the first ones to ever do stand up comedy?
I'm telling you, there was the one man shows guy. There was some guys that were doing one man show.
Right.
With a little bit of music, there was like light effects and a little bit of stand-up.
Cry about something devastating that happened to them in their life.
And telling some funny stories as well. Funny stories. I'm not saying that was the first stand-up in Brazil, because there was some older guys doing this funny stories and everything.
But you were an innovator of the modern art form of stand-up comedy.
Yes, sir. I was one of that. It was like a group of, I don't know, 5 or 6 people, 3 in Rio and 3 in São Paulo. And we started to do stand-up. And at first we used to do shows for like 15 people, 20 people. And things started to just got harder and harder. And we started to do like 2 shows for 60 people. And it became a huge thing. It was like, from at first it was just like 15 people watching. And we had to explain at the beginning of every show what we are going to do. Like, this is called stand-up comedy. So a guy is going to come here, tell a story, and tell a bit about his life. He's not a character. You have to tell people, because some people after the show used to I really like to come to me. I really like that guy from the South that you play on stage. No, that's me. I am a guy. Yeah, because they were used to with the characters.
Yeah,
that happened a lot. So it took some time for stand-up to be a name that people say. Now, if you say stand-up comedy, people know what it is stand-up comedy. I have my comedy club. I have been doing shows for the whole country for the past 15 years. So it's different now. People know what stand-up comedy is, and I was one of the responsibles to make this happen.
Was your comedy club in Sao Paulo, was that like the first official comedy club?
No. It was another comedy club in Sao Paulo from some friends. A small one. It was just comedy. It was the only place with just comedy. So we used to do a little bit of that. But what we did at first, we just got like in a bar. We used to search for like rock clubs. And then we had like stand-up night. Like every Wednesday, we used to do stand-up day. So that's what we did. And we used to pack the thing. It was the best day for that place. So then I started to do my solo show in 2006. Just me. It was like in a theater for 250 people. And I used to pack every Saturday and Friday I used to do like 2 shows sometimes. And then it became something after the TV. And
Same theater every Saturday.
Yeah.
So would you write new material every week?
Every Friday and Saturday. No, I have the same show. It's called The Art of the Insult.
Oh, and that you made a DVD
Yeah,
out
I
of that.
made a DVD.
Yeah.
My first.
So was the whole show about insults?
No, it was just the name. It was just like making people ready that there would be some hard jokes on that. That's the only thing.
What is the best insult that you have?
Oh no, the best. It's just I don't have the. It's not an insult. What I'm saying it's just a joke. I would treat them as an insult, but it was only jokes. And the first DVD.
Okay, so you didn't teach people how to insult other people.
No. It was not.
It's a great title.
It was not a class. It was just the show, and it became very known. And I sold DVDs. It got a golden DVD. In 50 days, I sold like 100,000 copies. So then this organization with Down syndrome took my DVD out of the market.
Oh, because of the joke was on there?
Yeah.
No shit. So it's not available at all?
It's on YouTube now. It is on YouTube. But it's old, I watched that thing. I'm like, fuck. There's some shitty jokes there. Yeah, it was my first show. So there's like jokes about signs in the bathroom. Why we inform people that are going to shit. I don't know. It was my first show. It was the thing that launched me to the audience, so I'm very proud of it.
You were named like the most influential person on Twitter?
Yes,
like
sir.
Above President Obama?
Yeah, suck it. Well, Obama.
You're after Obama?
No, it was...
I thought he was second.
No. He was second.
Yeah, you were the most influential. That's
yes,
amazing.
I said suck it, Obama. And the Dalai Lama was third.
Ah.
And it was like Conan O'Brien, I think.
I'm unimpressed with the Dalai Lama. Anybody who spends that much time with Richard Gere can't be that cool.
No, yeah.
So what was it that what was your gift on Twitter that made you so influential?
Man, I have no idea. Nobody explained.
You're just like busting jokes, just doing like regular tweets. It wasn't like...
Yes, that's it. People are retweeting my jokes a lot, and I got that fucking thing that I don't know what is about.
Because I have a love-hate relationship with Twitter. I mean, Twitter's the reason you and I are sitting here.
Yes, sir.
Somebody had tweeted to me, you've played all over the world, have you ever played in Brazil? And I said, no, I would love to. And then the same person tweeted, oh, you should contact Rafi. And then you and I
started to talk.
Followed each other, and then we started to send messages to each other and stuff. And then now we're friends and everything. So, like, that's a good thing from Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, a few years ago when I was trying to, like, focus on Twitter, I was thinking more about Twitter than I was my act.
Yes.
And I think that's poison for a comedian.
Yeah,
I was thinking in terms of short little pithy jokes instead of like, long form stories or developing shit. And I was like, fuck this. And then you tweet something funny and then like 4 or 5 people comment on it. And I thought, you know what Twitter is? It's for hecklers. It's not for the creators of content. It's for
some hecklers are funny, man.
It's for the commenters and the hecklers and shit.
Some commenters are funny. The ones that hate you always make you. And I always think, fuck. I wish I thought of that. Some haters are funny, man.
Do you want to move over out of the sun?
No,
are you
don't
okay?
worry, my friend. Okay.
Okay, good. We can move to the shady side of the room.
Don't worry.
My palatial apartment.
Yeah, I see you.
So,
yeah, but that was this title. I was the most influential profile on Twitter. It opens a lot of doors, man. I'm telling you, maybe the reason why I'm here, I have 2 reasons. First, I couldn't play basketball, which was my dream. So I always waited for a second chance to happen in America. And I think this is the time for me to really, really focus. I had a marriage for 13 years. I'm now divorced, so...
Congratulations.
Thank you very, very much. I'm very happy, my friend. Thank you. So it's now time for me to focus on making things happen here.
I think that's hard currency in Los Angeles and Hollywood, is to have so many followers on social media. And I think that's what everybody looks at. I don't think they care what your content is.
Do you think that?
Yeah, I think it's huge.
Yeah, I got a lot of followers. But the thing is, most of my followers are Portuguese speakers. That's the thing. How do I translate that into American audience? I have to build my own audience here.
What's your dream for the United States? You want to same kind of television career you had in Brazil?
My friend, now I have like an urgent dream, which is to be known in the comedy circuit. That's the urgent dream. I want to go up in a comedy store. I want to go up every night in big clubs. I want to have your life, my friend. With this huge apartment.
You're envious of me?
Maybe
Do you want to say that again? I'll make it a ringtone.
I want to be just like Tom Rhodes. I want to have this nice apartment, maybe a wife from Suriname. So, but the thing is just to go and practice my comedy a little more. I'm very excited. I'm excited again about doing stand-up. I wasn't that excited doing it in Portuguese anymore. I did, and I was happy. I built a new show in Brazil, and I'm launching that show now.
The Netflix show.
Yeah, September 20th.
Did all these lawsuits kind of kill the joy of stand-up comedy for you
No,
in Brazil?
it didn't kill. But the thing is, I was just trying to build my career again. And I didn't think stand-up was the way to do it. Because every time that I write a joke, I can create a new controversy. It's not... I always liked to go on stage. Always. It was always something that I really, really enjoyed. But I decided not to go on stage for a while because I was trying to build. Maybe I was like, I wrote a series, I wrote 2 series, I directed a movie, I acted in 5 movies in Brazil. So I was trying to build the connection with the audience again. And I didn't think stand-up was the way to do it. But there's a new generation of stand-up comedians in Brazil, and they are using the web very wisely. They have like huge numbers, so kind of excited me again to go on stage. So I built a new show. It's gonna air on Netflix September 21st. It's gonna be all around the world, so it's gonna be like an original for Netflix. And now doing it in English is something. It's crazy because I feel like I'm a fresh again, man. That's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So you're born again.
Yes.
You're starting over.
Yes. It's so much fun. And I feel it's like if you play soccer, okay? If you play soccer, your dream is to play where? Spain, Italy. That's the place that you want to play. You don't want to be playing in fucking Zambia. Okay, maybe you're the best soccer player in Suriname. And you're always gonna
They have great soccer. All the best Dutch players are always from Suriname.
Okay, so okay, but maybe you're playing in Dutchland. You wanna go play in Barcelona, in Madrid. So that's what I'm feeling right now. I am. If things happen the way I want it to happen, I'll be a very good player in Barcelona. Very good soccer
So for
player.
stand-up comedy, Los Angeles is the Barcelona.
It's America. I'm saying America. Maybe Los Angeles. Maybe New York. Doing in English. That, and I feel like a kid doing it. You know, that's how fresh I feel. I'm trying to go up on a comedy store. That's crazy. I have been doing stand-up for 15 years. I have all these numbers, and I have my comedy club in Brazil, which is bigger than the Comedy Store. And I watched you yesterday, and I was like, man, I wish I was that. How long is gonna take me for me to just be a regular here? And that's...
To kill as hard as me at the Comedy Store?
It's not, yeah. Maybe to kill like Tom Rhodes, my example of life. So that's what I am right now.
So, but
it's exciting.
You told me you're getting on at the Improv and the Laugh Factory and
doing
stuff.
A lot of shows,
yeah.
I have a show
It's pretty ballsy and courageous to move to Los Angeles with no connections. I mean, you didn't know anybody here, right? I mean,
I just knew Jade. Jade did some shows in Brazil. She's a very good friend. She went every time she goes to Brazil. She opens for me. I put her up on my comedy club. Every show that she wanted to do, I can get it to her. I put her on like talk shows and stuff. That's
On television?
yes.
No
yeah.
shit.
No, I have these connections in Brazil. I can
Nice.
call my friend. All my friends are like.
She could be interviewed in English on Brazilian television?
No, she's in Portuguese. She speaks very good Portuguese.
wow.
Yeah, she speaks very good. She does social opens for me in Portuguese. She does stand up in Portuguese.
Wow.
It's new for her. She's still working on it, but she's trying. So I went here, just met her, and then I met Kevin Nealon, which is a very good friend. I started to know people. And now I know my idol, Tom Run. But the thing is, I'm getting to know people. I'm trying to be more in the circuit. To know the bookers. I know, I'm telling you, Tom, this may sound a little arrogant, but I know I'm good. I know I'm good. And I know that I can do good things here in America. It's just now I'm really feel comfortable. I'm starting to really feel comfortable talking in English on stage. It's different. When I first started, I was okay. I was working. The jokes are good. I know the jokes are good. But the way that I'm feeling now, like a little more loose, it's another language, my friend.
I couldn't imagine performing in another language. And then, like we talked about at the beginning of this conversation, to lose certain nuances when you're telling a story that you have in your own language. And just like pauses and
Yes.
descriptive words and things like that.
I just have to write everything down. That's the thing. I have to write everything down and memorize and make them feel fresh on stage. I cannot just create things on the spot.
Do you think you can be as controversial here as you were in Brazil?
Yeah, but
Or are you taking a different approach?
the thing is, I'm writing what I think is funny. I don't think. I want to be this or I want to be that. The thing is, if I think something's funny, I just try it out. I have a lot of material that I want to translate that I know that it will work here, and I have been writing a lot.
I think you have a lot more freedom being a non-American, commenting on American society.
Yes.
And like I said, the Brazil is this mysterious, magical place to everyone in the world. That
What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about Brazil?
The
first thing.
First thing, only because
Soccer.
No, not for me.
Okay.
And I think racial harmony.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing I think. I think that's what Brazil possesses over the rest of the world. Even though it's not the richest country in the world, that you don't have.
It's a poor country, man.
I know. And my family's from Argentina, and Argentina's a poor country.
Of course.
And everyone knows about the favelas and the crime and everything in Brazil, and the history of corrupt politicians and things. I think it's interesting that you had a dictatorship not that long ago, that you've come out of that. But, of course, Brazil is known for soccer.
Yeah. And butts.
Yeah, wow. There should be a museum dedicated to the glory of Brazilian asses, I think.
And they're awesome. I start my show with, I always start the show saying, in case you're wondering, yes, I wax my vagina. Because they all know the fucking
Brazilian wax.
And I say, Italy is known for its food, Japan the technology, Brazil bold pussies. That's a fucking...
That's so true.
Yeah.
I did a joke. It wasn't this World Cup. It was the last World Cup that I wanted Brazil to win the World Cup. So when they win, there'd be lots of camera shots of magnificent Brazilian asses dancing and everything. That's what everybody loves.
It's crazy, huh? And I don't know. There's a body. There's a woman's body that is you can only find in Rio de Janeiro.
Really?
Yes. That's why there's so much. You know that there's a lot of porn shot in Brazil. If you go to Pornhub and all those places and search for Brazil, there's fucking thousands of porn made in Brazil. And it's always the same script. An American guy goes to Brazil, fucks someone in the ass, and go back to his country. Wow. It's so exciting and creative. It's always the same script.
Okay, so is there anything... Because I want to talk to you about a couple things.
Of course.
About Brazil, non-comedy, football and music. Okay. But your first introduction to the United States was in Nebraska. And you lived in northwest Nebraska.
Yes, sir. Chadron. It was the place. Name of the place.
Did you ever go see where Crazy Horse was murdered?
No, I never.
Do you know who Crazy Horse is?
I have no fucking clue.
Okay. Crazy Horse is one of my heroes. Crazy Horse was, he was an Oglala Sioux Indian, and him and Sitting Bull fought against General Custer at the Battle of Little Bighorn. And they arrested Crazy Horse. They, genocide against all the Native Americans, and Sitting Bull got a band of the Sioux Indian to Canada, and they survived. But Crazy Horse was arrested, and they took him to a jail. In the only time I've ever been to Northwest Nebraska, I took a special trip there just to go see where Crazy Horse was actually shot in the back on a jail cell. They were moving him from one jail to another, and some coward guard shot him in the back.
What was the city?
It's called Camp Robinson. You gonna look it up on your
Can
phone?
I?
Yeah.
Let's keep talking.
So if you look down here, you can see my books on Crazy Horse. I'm obsessed with Native Americans, and Crazy Horse.
I remember that when I was living there was this big discussion because they wanted to they created, or they wanted to create, I don't remember, a law that was forbidden to sell alcohol inside of
the reservations.
The reservations. I don't know if the law still exists, because Indians were killing each other because they drink like 2 beers and they are already drunk. And there was a lot of stabbing, and Indian people were killing themselves because of alcohol. So what happened was they were not selling inside of the reservation, but outside in the cities nearby, there was like bars and bars and bars and fucking streets of bars. And those Indians are going to those places, and those guys were fucking millionaires because of that. The people were going there to buy food and fucking beer and whiskey and everything. So they were.
Yeah, and you weren't far from Mount Rushmore.
No, it wasn't. Like 2 hours from the Mount Rushmore. Oh, 1 hour and a half from the Mount Rushmore.
Did you go?
I did.
So only 2 miles from Mount Rushmore, they're building this Crazy Horse memorial, and it's
Camp Robinson.
It's Crazy Horses on top of a. Here, I'll show you. I bought a little statue of it.
Camp Robinson.
Okay, this is a ceramic model of the Crazy Horse Memorial. Look, they're carving this out of a mountain. And Mount Rushmore can fit on the horse's head. That's how big they started it in like 1949. It's going to take another 50 years till it's finished. Wow. So you didn't go see the Crazy Horse?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well you didn't know me then. I could have told you.
I didn't know you, my friend.
So, and those white presidents that are on the Mount Rushmore.
Okay, but Camp Joseph Robinson is in Mississippi.
No, Camp Robinson. Nebraska.
Camp Robinson is a city. No.
It was a military camp, but it's still called
Nebraska.
Camp. Yeah.
Camp Robinson. Oh, yeah.
You see it?
Yeah, I see it.
I like how last night we were talking about a few things, and you pulled out your phone to verify.
I'm sorry.
You like to verify information.
Yeah, you can be lying to me. I don't know.
I like that.
I don't know.
So, who was your all-time favorite basketball player? Who was your hero in basketball?
Anthony Mason.
Okay.
You know who Anthony Mason is?
No, I'm not a big basketball fan. I like baseball and
Charles
soccer.
Oakley. You know who Charles Oakley was?
Charles Oakley? No.
They were like power forwards for the New York Knicks in the 90s.
Okay.
They used to play with Patrick Ewing. You know who Patrick?
Of course, I know Patrick Ewing, of course.
Patrick Ewing. So it was John Starks, Patrick Ewing, it was Anthony Mason, Charles Smith, and Charles Oakley. And they were tough. They were fucking trying to kick Michael Jordan's ass. Never liked Michael Jordan. No, too fancy. No. Of course, he was the best ever, but I like those guys, the grinders, the fucking the tough guys.
Yeah.
That's what
So you went to Nebraska on a scholarship.
Yes.
That must have been fun, living in the middle of nowhere.
I see some irony there. In your commentary, I see some irony.
No, but I mean to come to a different country.
It was fun.
Your first taste of America is the real America.
Yeah.
In the middle of the country.
So I had a chance to meet America. I had a chance to understand why people elected Trump.
Those are the people.
If you live in LA or in New York, you're just living in a big city. You don't know the US.
Yeah.
You don't know America. And I met them all. It was fun, bro. I'm telling you. And I had a chance to
What was your impression of Middle Americans?
The thing is, it's crazy because even in the small cities, it's a very competitive country. You guys are always always wanted to be better than the other one. It's always very competitive everywhere. To play in that team, it was very competitive. Like people used to kick my ass all the time because I was getting like some exposure. But at the same time, it was fun. It was fun. I was playing in the team, so I had people coming up to me and talking to me. So it was
because you were on the basketball.
Yeah,
team.
I was on the basketball team. We don't have college basketball in Brazil. We do have, but there's not like that. You have like scholarships. And you live in dorms. No. That's not the way you do it. I don't even think that we have dorms in college in Brazil. So to live in that atmosphere and just think about school and sports and sometimes a little sex, why not? It was so good. It was, how can I say, it was safe. Because I wasn't on the street. It was not like living in Brazil. It was just like I had to focus on that. Didn't have that much things to do. Was a little frustrated because all restaurants would close at 11 o'clock. There's not even one subway that would...
There's not even a close city you can get to.
No.
Like Omaha is like 5-6 hour drive from there. Yeah. You're in the middle of nowhere.
No. 4 hours from Denver.
Wow.
And 6 hours from Omaha. I think 3 hours from Lincoln, so it was far away from everything. It was like 2 hours from the city in South Dakota, Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
You know Sioux Falls?
Sioux Falls, yeah.
Sioux Falls, yeah. This was like 2 hours from that. So it was a good experience, man. It was a very good... I think I learned a lot. Much more than I would learn if
What did you learn?
I learned about the country, I learned about the people, I learned about the America that we don't see, that Hollywood don't show us. The real Americans, the workers, the farmers. I saw a buffalo. I never saw a buffalo in my life. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I don't think I will be able to stay there for the full 4 years because it was too much. But and I had to go back to Brazil because I got injured after the first year. So it's something that I regret. I wish I could. I made a choice to stay there for at least 2 or 3 years. And it's crazy because when I said no to go back to Nebraska, I kept dreaming about it. Because I never had a chance to play. I got injured before the season starts. So I never played.
You know, like in a game or anything?
No.
Wow.
I was just fucking practicing like crazy. And when the season started, I got injured. So what happened was I went back to Brazil to have surgery and I never went back. So I kept dreaming about it. Fuck, I just messed up this opportunity. I just messed up this chance. Basketball was my life. And I never thought that I will have another chance in America. So that's why now there's no other way. It will happen.
Great.
I'm focused on making this happen.
So, okay, just want to talk to you about a couple more things. I got to talk to you about Brazilian football. And I told you I got this magnificent DVD documentary, like a 10 DVD thing years ago, and it's the history of football. And the great thing is they focus on each country individually and the history. And the remarkable thing about Brazil is how football/soccer basically kind of healed racial divisions in Brazil.
Yeah.
And basically it happened in 1938 at the World Cup in Paris. There were these two black stars for the Brazilian teams, and they were like the greatest players at the World Cup. And all the European press wrote about these guys, and look, this is how you play football. And then Brazil, it says in this documentary that the people back in Brazil, they were like, oh, they're not writing about our music, our culture, or our politics. They're writing about Brazil's the greatest country because we have the best soccer players and they're black. And then there's the curious incident. Well, okay, let me stay on this train here real quick. So here's the remarkable thing. Brazil made it to the final.
I'm excited.
Brazil, it really excites me. I the World Cup is. I'm not a big sports guy. I grew up. I like baseball, but I don't follow it. I like it because it's the game of summer. I enjoy going, and it's not ruled by a clock.
Okay.
That it's this lazy, slow game.
Yes.
But I really love soccer, specifically the World Cup.
Okay.
So Brazil made it to the final of the World Cup in 1938 in Paris. One of their black stars, the best player on the team, didn't play in the final. So for some mysterious reason, and he wasn't injured, they didn't play the guy. So Brazil lost the 1938 final in Paris. And then in 1998, when France won the World Cup, they played Brazil, and they didn't play their best player, Ronaldinho. How do you say his name?
What year?
1998.
Oh yeah, hold on. No, he played.
No, he didn't play.
He played. He was sick, but he played.
He was sick. He didn't play.
He played. He played sick.
Okay, so you're about to fuck up my whole theory here. So here's the remarkable thing.
He played. He was sick, but he played.
So Brazil has 5 stars on the jersey. They've won 5 World Cups.
Yes.
They could have won 7. They didn't play their best player in 1938, and then I thought, you going to look this up, 1998?
Just keep talking because I'm going to search for if Ronaldo played or not.
But he didn't play. And it's some mysterious thing, and they talk about it in this, there's something happened in 1998, like there was a fight in the locker room among the Brazilian players. Something happened.
When?
1998.
No, 1998, he got sick.
They said he got sick. But something happened, and the whole team covered up for it. There's something mysterious happened in 1998. They said he got sick, and then all the French players, when they heard that day he wasn't going to play, they thought it was a joke. It's the best player on the Brazilian team.
He got he was like he had a convulsion, like. When you do like a attack, when you
panic attacks.
No. It was like a convulsion, like just like epileptic attack.
Okay.
You know, that what happened with him. He was like sick, and nobody wanted to talk about that. And we all found out after the game that he was sick because he didn't play a good game. And we were like talking, "Fuck, what happened?" But that's what I remember from it. But if you read it. I don't think people were like lying, but I don't remember.
Okay, I just think it maybe.
Yeah, convulsion at the final decision. Yeah, there was.
So he did play.
He did play.
Okay, I'm wrong. And then the other amazing thing about Brazilian football in 1950, when they had the World Cup in Brazil, and Brazil lost, and everybody blamed the goalie. And his life was basically over in Brazil after that.
Yes, I remember that.
And then they said in the documentary, later in life, they let him work at the Maracana Stadium. And the guy was like, that's such a sad story. The dude's like sweeping the stadium.
Yeah, that's a.
And he was once the friggin' goalie in the World Cup.
The thing is, soccer, it took a lot of time for soccer to be a sport that makes money, that people are making money. Now for the past, 30 years, soccer is a chance for the people in the favelas to just make it big. Music and soccer, which is sad because we're not talking about education.
Yeah, but in a lot of poor countries in the world, Mexico, Argentina, it's interesting. Soccer and boxing seems to be the thing that pulls people out of poverty.
Not boxing in Brazil.
No?
No, boxing. No.
MMA? Brazil's almost famous for its
okay, but
UFC fighters as it is its soccer players.
Okay, but how many fighters you have and how many soccer players? With one game of MMA, there's only 2 people. With one game of soccer, there's 22 people playing. So there's more chances for people to make it out of the favelas. And I'm telling you, there's much more soccer games than fights. So MMA is something new, and I'm telling you, of course it is a chance for people to go out and everything, and volleyball too, and basketball too. But soccer is the big thing. Soccer is the game of the country. So if you go to the favelas, what you see is people playing soccer with like flip-flops is as a goal. The goal, what's the name of the goal?
Goal.
Yeah. The goal is 2 flip-flops.
Yeah.
You don't see people fighting in the favelas because of MMA. No. Football fits the country. It's like a sport that you don't need to be that strong. You just have to be smart and like malandro.
Malandro, what's that?
It's like to have this flow. How do you say this in English? Like when you're not only smart because you're intelligent, but you have this way of
synchronicity?
No. What I'm saying is
style
and the rhythm and jinga. You know what? Someone dances and shake all his body. How do you say that? People has
rhythm
and flow. That's the way we are in Brazil. So soccer have this way of dealing with things. Basketball, now fighting, now you have to be strong. You have to be physical. It's even Michael Jordan, which was the best basketball player ever. He was huge. His shoulders was the size of this apartment. Neymar, which is one of the best soccer players ever that's playing in Brazil right now, he's just a little kid.
He's I think he should be nominated for an Academy Award for all the fake diving he's doing.
This is making Brazilians mad as well. Not only.
Yeah,
it's like
a little too much.
It's a little too much.
I think that's one reason why Americans aren't into. I think soccer's not big in America because of advertising, because there's no breaks for the commercials, only at halftime. Yes. And I think that American television probably didn't make soccer popular because there's no place to put the advertising. But also, I think all the fake diving. I think
I'm telling
Americans
you, the thing is with America is that you need things happening. You always are searching for things happening. Like if you play basketball, there's like always a shot every 24 seconds.
Yeah.
If you watch any other sport, American football, there's always like someone throwing a ball and fucking kicking and throwing and hugging. And with soccer, it can take 20 minutes for the ball to reach the goal. And Americans find this boring. And I agree. It's I think it's the only sport in which a game can finish in a 0-0 draw.
Yeah.
Like the players never left home.
Yeah. And I think Americans feel like, why even put on a uniform if it's going to end
0-0?
But I do
it's like, what happened in the game today? Nothing.
I always like after a goal, there's always a lot of hugging and kissing. I really enjoyed that about it.
And that's the way we have to connect. It's the only...
I'll tell you, one of my favorite things about... I read this quote years ago. That it was the Brazilian player. It was the last World Cup that Pele won. When he
was 70.
1970.
He played 74, but he didn't play well.
That 70 World Cup.
That was crazy.
The uniforms were beautiful.
We won by far.
Yeah, but the other Brazilian players told the story back in the dressing room after they won the final. Pele was jumping up and down, yelling, "I'm not dead. I'm not dead. I'm not dead."
And he's still not dead.
I fucking love that story. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Still alive.
No, but I mean, just as a fucking.
He played 74.
Yeah.
He was old, but and they kicked his ass. Every time that he got the ball, fucking boom. He couldn't even move. Soccer changed. In the 70s, it was It wasn't that tough. That's what people say about basketball today. It's like Michael Jordan was the guy. because defense at that time sucked. And I saw a video the other day on YouTube showing Michael Jordan like with highlights and stuff, and there wasn't much defense at that time. He was not like LeBron James. Now LeBron James is playing against the best defenders in the world. It's questionable. But I'm saying is that the sport changed and soccer changed too. In '74, there was like the people that play defense was like huge guys and fast and fucking strong, and he couldn't play anymore. The game changed.
Okay, man. Last topic: Brazilian music.
Okay. What do you like about Brazilian music? Because that's not something that fucking excites me that much.
Really? Okay.
But tell me.
So you're sitting in front of my I don't know how many vinyl records are there, like maybe 2,000, something like that.
How many?
So I pulled out.
Let me see.
Okay, so this is Brazil Greatest Songs Ever. So I normally end my podcast with like a great song. So what are the best songs on there?
This is Paula Lima. He's a good friend. Juca Chaves.
You have a friend on there?
Yeah.
Who?
Paula Lima, the number 12. I know her. She's a very nice woman. She is. She's awesome.
You haven't made any comments about her pregnancy?
No, I never did. The 13, Juca Chaves, is a comedian.
Really?
He's a comedian. The number 13. And the other, Baden Powell, that's very famous. It's a very famous. Seu Jorge. Do you like Seu Jorge? Americans love Seu Jorge. This number 4 is Chega no Swing. Chiquinho Timó. And the other ones are not that famous.
Okay. And what about the songs on here?
Let me see. Brazil Super Hits.
That's an old record.
Okay. These are the ones that you guys here love. It's a bossa nova.
Yeah.
João Gilberto, Sérgio Mendes, Luiz Bonfá. Rosinha Valência. João Gilberto is huge. It is in Brazil as well. He's not known to do like big concerts. He's actually known to be very difficult to deal with. He just fucking like, the song is not working. He just like leave the stage and fucking like there's 2,000 people just, okay, let's go home. And this one, it's very Brazilian.
Okay. Cool.
That's
so
the most common thing. Sérgio Mendes, you see.
Which one? This
You want me to choose one?
No. Yeah. You want one off?
Can I choose one?
You can choose one to end the episode with.
To end the episode with the CD.
Yeah. Or whichever, whatever you want.
So end with my friend Paula Lima.
Okay, you got
Number 12. É isso aí, which means that's it.
That's what the song means.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's it. Whatever it takes. That's it. I like these Brazilian titles. Okay, my brother, I'm really happy we became friends and everything.
Yes.
Before I walk you across the street and show you the brand new soccer field, is there any words of wisdom or advice that you'd like to give to the people of the earth?
Wow, man, that's tough. Use condom. It's a piece of... I hate fucking condoms. But you gotta do it. I don't want to be remembered by this guy. This is gonna be like just audio. Once I asked him, what does he have to say to the world? And he just said, use condom. But try to have fun. That's the thing. For me. I'm having fun. Even in the worst moments of my career and everything. I think I'm having fun. And that's the purpose of us being in the earth, is just to have fun, man. That's what I think. And use condom.
Have fun, use condoms. I love it. Okay, my brother, I look forward to watching your star rise in the United States, my friend.
Thanks, my friend. You're gonna...
Long may you run, my brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, my friend.
Long may you run.
Preparei uma roda de samba só pra ele, mas ele não sambou, esse é o problema dele. Entreguei um palpite seguro só pra ele, preocupado em pintar na jogada aqui da pé. Só que tem que eu tô numa tão certa que ninguém me diz quem eu sou, o que devo fazer e o que eu não fiz. Separei um pedaço de bolo só pra ele, mas se ele não provar, isso é problema dele. Inventei na semana um domingo só pra ele. Se ele for trabalhar, isso é problema dele. Isso é problema dele. Isso é problema dele. Isso é problema dele. Esse problema é só dele. Tô cansada de andar por aí curtindo que não é. Preocupado em tentar na jogada aqui da pé. Só que tem que eu tô numa tão certa que ninguém me diz quem eu sou, o que devo fazer e o que eu não fiz. Comprei roupa, sandália, sapato só pra ele, mas se ele não usar, isso é problema dele. Aluguei uma roda gigante só pra ele, mas se ele não rodar, isso é problema dele. Isso é problema dele. Isso é problema dele. Isso é problema dele. Esse problema é só dele. Isso é problema dele. Esse é problema dele. Isso é problema dele. Problema dele. Problema dele. Problema dele. Problema dele. Isso é problema dele. Isso é problema dele. Esse é problema dele. Esse problema é só dele. Esse é problema dele. Esse é problema dele. Esse é problema dele. Esse problema é só dele. Esse problema é dele. Esse problema é só dele. Esse problema é dele. Esse problema é só dele.
If you want to give and support us or donate, Patreon, patreon.com, patreon.com/Tom Rhodes Radio Smart Camp. And if you want to enrich your life with wisdom and laughter, you can buy my brand new album, All Hail Laughter, on iTunes and Amazon. It's a double album, and it will certainly enrich your life with laughter. Enjoy.